Hello and welcome to Altcoins This Week, a weekly recap of the latest Altcoins news.
And today's headlines are: cycle your way to wealth with 50 cycles, Hollywood to tackle blockchain and indie thriller crypto, Denver drops paper in favor of blockchain, and Monero crypto jackers arrested in Japan. But before we start, Maria, just answer a simple question. Have you ever been in a situation when you looked out the window in a rainy day and thought that I would never ever go to my bike even somebody paid me to do it?
I never thought about it.
Well, I bet you did. Well, you might reconsider your answer, as now someone really will pay you to brave the bad weather and traffic and get on your bike.
50 Cycles, a London-based startup, has partnered with LoyalCoin to develop a scheme to reward cyclists for doing what they do best, cycling.
And I can tell you that the scheme is as easy as riding a bike. By using 50 Cycles' newly developed e-bike, cyclists will earn LoyalCoin at the equivalent value of £20 for every 1,000 miles they cycle.
And that works out at just over 20 pence per mile, which might not be enough to get some of your dusting off your lycra shorts.
Oh, indeed. The e-bike itself costs almost £1,700, but don't worry, you only have to cycle a mere of 85,000 miles before you've recouped the cost. Surely it's all downhill after that.
Here to comment, we have Simon Kakin, editor-in-chief of CryptoCoin.News. Simon, hello. Simon, do you think more competitions will introduce such incentives in the near future? And is it worth that? I mean, £20 per 1,000 miles is not that much.
Look, I think we like stories like this because it shows the wide and diverse range in which blockchain can be used, for one thing. Also, with cycling, I love the Tour de France, the Tour de España, they're great things. But if you think about 1,600 kilometers, that's a long way to cycle for $26. So in some ways, I think they've done well because they're doing something that's gimmicky, but it gets attention. At the same time, probably it's not going to cost them that much because, if you're the cyclist, it's going to take you, I don't know, a week to cycle that many kilometers. At the same time, I think it's almost a good proof of use case that we'll see more things like this. And, I guess the challenge will be is if they're paying out that much, is it economical for them to do it? I think so. It's a nice story, interesting to watch. But if you're a cyclist, there's got to be easier ways to make money than doing 1,600 kilometers for $26.
Thank you, Simon, and let's move on. If you're finding that the current cryptocurrency market lacks drama, you may soon be able to watch the Hollywood version in your local cinema.
Exactly. The Hollywood Reporter announced this week that an indie thriller set in the murky world of crypto money laundering is about to go into production.
The movie, by the name of Crypto, stars Kurt Russel along with a host of familiar faces from TV hits Westworld and Mad Men, will focus on an anti-money laundering unit and its efforts to tackle a criminal gang that is using cryptocurrency to hide its dodgy dealings.
We are promised by the director John Stolberg Jr. that it's gonna be a timely, thrilling story, and the project is bound to attract interest from the blockchain community, who will no doubt be eager to see how the film explains the intricacies of the technology to the movie-going world.
Next, we have news from Denver. It is well known that newspaper sales have fallen in recent years, and many people now prefer to find their daily news fix online. So in Denver, Colorado, journalists have taken this one step further by setting up a media outlet in partnership with blockchain startup Civil Media Company.
In addition, the journalists left their jobs as writers for the Denver Post following the paper's acquisition by a New York hedge fund. Seeing that their beloved paper was being turned into little more than a vehicle to sell advertising, the journalists decided to go it alone.
Their new venture, called the Colorado Sun, will store data using blockchain technology and is being launched with a grant from Civil Media Company. Nothing can happen in our lives without some difficulties, so more funding is needed, and the Sun has launched a Kickstarter campaign in the hope of attracting further investment.
Let's hope the paper will be successful, and if it is, it will be the first fully ad-free, journalist-owned news outlet in the world, and it could signal the dawn of a new era in news reporting. Civil Media Company, meanwhile, hopes to have 1,000 news outlets on the Ethereum blockchain by the end of this year.
Yes, that must be interesting. Again, we want to hear our editor-in-chief commenting this. How do you think? Will we see more news outlets will implement blockchain in their processes? Is it a media of the future?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. And I think if we talk about the media and the future of media in general, it's a very common story that, the Washington Post is owned by Amazon. Most leading media outlets are not necessarily making money or not making money in the way they used to. Blockchain is a new technology that can potentially be very useful for tracking micro transfers of value. So therefore, it's not a surprise to see the two things put together. And also, like you've seen it, that some have tried it with paywalls. Does that work? Will people continue to read if they have to pay? Everyone expects things for free. But on the other hand, you still have running costs. You have to pay your creators, your content creators, and your staff. So I think, yes, we're going to see more of things like this. And even, with CryptoCoin.News, the idea is there's an ICO coming up too, that C3C, and again, it's to look to give value to creators, consumers, and advertisers. So I think we're going to see more of it, and I think like many areas in this idea, it's going to be a competitive space, and those that do it well will be successful. But I think there's going to be a few people trying to do this. So interesting times, but also logical, because the old method of ads doesn't really work. So people have to find new ways to monetize. And yet create good content too. So I think it's an interesting story, and I look forward to seeing what happens both with them and then also with the C3C ICO as well, because it shows where we're going,
Thank you, Simon. The next story involves Monero cryptojackers being arrested. In another first of its kind, police in Japan have arrested 16 people suspected of using the processing power of unsuspecting computer owners to mine Monero. The process, known as cryptojacking, was carried out by installing malware, including the CoinHive program, onto computers. The program used the processing power of the computers to mine Monero and pass the currency back to the cryptojacker.
CoinHive has been in the news more than once since its launch last year. In January, a hacker used Google Ads to deliver CoinHive to unsuspecting computer owners, even using the app to target YouTube. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, although the arrest will be seen as success for law enforcement of this type of crime, how the suspected culprits will be punished is another matter. Japanese law does not appear to outlaw this type of activity at present time.
However, it is likely that law enforcement agencies around the world will be watching this story closely to learn how best to deal with the type of fraudulent activity that can easily go undetected for long periods of time.
Let's hope that it will work well for them.
Let's go to all the important prices. Ether was volatile this week with large swings, particularly in the middle of the week. It opened on Monday at $532 before plummeting to $467 on Wednesday. It dramatically climbed to $517 on Thursday before seeing the week out around the $500 mark. Ripple followed a similar pattern, opening at 58 cents and dropping midweek to 52 cents and struggling to make up any ground for the rest of the week. It closed on Sunday trading at 51 cents. Bitcoin Cash was the one hit hardest by the midweek slump, opening at $935 on Monday and hitting a low of $826 by Wednesday. A slight recovery followed and it finished the week at $850. Maria will tell you about EOS.
Yeah, exactly. So EOS fared a little better, opening at $11.25 before dropping to $9.46 on Wednesday. It was back a week high of $11.52 by Thursday, but couldn't better $10.70 by the week's end. LoyalCoin reached its lowest point of the year this week when it traded for $91 on Wednesday. This was following an opening of $107 on Sunday. Like elsewhere, a sharp upward curve on Thursday gave way to steady decline, and LoyalCoin finished the week at $97.
Altcoins slumped on Wednesday along with Bitcoin, as so often happens. It is likely that the expiry of Bitcoin futures led to a sell-off, and where Bitcoin goes, altcoins tried to follow. Well, that was Altcoins this week. I'm Helen Moss.
I'm Maria Wobchok.
Don't forget to subscribe for more.
Until next time.